The track looks quite flooded. The rain's pouring down. I wonder if it will lighten up in the next quarter of an hour. But we're going to have to watch out and wait and see who's going to get pulled. A lot of fast drivers in here. Mikau, Striffium, a lot of fast drivers in here. Let's see if who's going to go out and when they're going to do it. Obviously, I'm my co-commentator with me here is Biggles. Say hello, Biggles.
Hello. Wait, am I? No, wait, hang on. Am I in live? Yeah, I'm live. Cool. To make sure that for a second. I'm doing very well, thank you. My comrade, my Irish comrade from across the Pacific and Atlantic and half the world. How are you doing?
I think the Atlantic is the correct description for the gap that we are. But yes, I'm doing just fine. I'm waiting for this. What's probably going to be a very interesting Chinese Grand Prix. Obviously, the wet qualifying going to really spice things up. I don't know if it's going to be dry for the race, but if it is going to be dry for the race, and that is in a whole new dynamic to this qualifying session. Because that gives you the option do you want to set the best lap you can now, or do you compromise the setup for the race? Obviously, it's going to be interesting to see which one they pick.
Yeah, I'm going to try to hack into race control as I generally do. See if we can guess the password today, seeing wet weather. So you must be used to this wet weather. This is like an average day in Ireland, isn't it? Like,
yes, in Ireland, we are obviously known for the amount of downpours we get. If it's sunny for a day, we think the world's going to burn.
No, you think you're in Australia.
Sun.
You're like, holy fuck, I've woken up. Oh, sorry, the part of my language is like, holy, I've woken up in Australia. What's going on?
No.
Yeah, but then when you do come down under, all of a sudden you realize, yeah, I kind of need to go back to Ireland because this is like there's hot and then there's too hot.
Of course, yeah, anything above 20 degrees here is considered hot. So I'm sure in Australia and the outback, anything will get burnt, including a pasty white Irish boy. So
including your tires too, but I don't think that's going to be a problem today. That's for sure.
Indeed. Well, as booking down, the wet tires are designed for these very, very wet conditions. Everyone right now seems to be on wet, so I don't see the track lighting up now. Maybe an interline may form, and drivers may try at the end of the session to go out on inters, but we'll have to wait and see to what the drivers do.
I'm going to see if I can.
And if it's going to be a dry or a wet race.
I'm going to see if I can pull it. Yeah, I'm going to pull that up actually. I want to see. Is there any way you can load the Twitch feed there? Sorry, YouTube. My bad. I'm not quite sure that
you want me to load the YouTube?
Yeah, we can see what maybe we can shout out to some people and see what's going on with the weather reports. So I think sometimes down in the pit lane they gives us. I'm up at the commentary box. I'm usually in the pit lane. I can usually give this information, but tonight I can't. I'm stuck in the commentary booth. I have to do the crofty. You can be the Martin Brundle and run down.
Martin Brundle, yep, that's my
run
Martin
down
Brundle.
And usually do the drive interviews, but yeah.
I'm just watching on board with the Williams. At first it says lap time. Obviously, he's the one setting purple sectors right now as he goes through the very, very long right-hander. It's you don't know really when to get on throttle through here. It's very difficult to know, especially in the wet, especially when you don't have traction control. It can be almost an enigma to figure out. He seems to have gone it pretty well. He's just trundling down the back straight, hoping for a good lap. He needs to pick his braking point and go for it into this corner. It's pretty late, but he's made the corner pretty easily. He's not invalidated the lap, by taking a lot of curb through there.
This is Becky B. P2, right? Are you talking about? Yeah.
No, I'm talking about Racer 33 going through the final corner. Coming up to the line. Yep. It's a provisional pole. 148.3 is what everyone else needs to beat right now.
Good job.
His teammate Becky B closest on track to him, going through the final corner just now.
Oh, follow Mikhail there. It looks like Mikhail's on a purples. Here we go. As we expected.
I think everyone's on purples right now. Can his teammate beat him? He has. It's a 146.3, 2 seconds faster. So the Mikhail, very quick driver. He's probably going to slash that in half. At the rate he's going at.
What do you call
there's a yellow flag. Someone's backed off.
Big final hairpin
Someone's gone
corner.
really slowly.
That is probably some people are just slowing down and let cars pass. That's Becky anyway. So Mikhail's going to round the final corner now.
Letting people pass.
Passes the pit lane.
See. What does everyone else need to beat? Is going to be there's a 146.8. Not as fast as Becky. It's like he might have made a mistake on that lap. Very easy to do in these very treacherous conditions, but I'd say he can go faster than that.
He did. It was half a second down in the last sector. So that's where he
Half
lost
a
all the
second
time.
down.
Must have made a mistake there.
Indeed, he must have.
BTFU, that's running an 8th there in the McLaren. So where is he? He's set the fastest first sector. He's like greens in the second. So as you know, if you don't know out there, greens are personal bests. Reds are bad. Everybody knows red's bad. Green generally is good, being your favorite color. My favorite color, but purple's
My favorite color as well.
BTFU is now going to go through that
from
little.
what I've heard, is the best.
I call it
You
the
want
little
purple sectors all around.
the paperclip corner, the last corner there, the last major corner, shall we say, before you did that little. How do you take this corner here as you approach if you're on the Ferrari?
On board with the Ferrari.
Oh yeah.
Well,
that's
in the wet,
maximum.
it's completely different in the dry. Usually in the dry, you just chuck it in and hope for the best, but
Chuck
obviously
it in.
that's not possible in the wet conditions. You have to really brake, really pick your apex, and you have to hope that the rear end sticks, or else you're going off wide, and that might invalidate your lap.
I find that really tricky too, personally, on that last corner, because if you do it, invalidate it. If you cut it too much, if you don't cut it, you go too wide. It is tricky. Becky's the fastest. Macau has improved the first sector. A lot slower on the second. What if he can improve? Where is he right now? He's down that back long main straight. That's P3 there, Macau there. That's in the AlphaTauri. He's going to go through that paperclip corner that I like to corner.
Yeah, it's very difficult, especially on the pad, to get the steering lock required to do the corner as quickly as you want to. Obviously, people using pads would know that a lot of the corners don't give you the steering lock you quite want, but that's provisional pole position for him at 146.1. That's kind of the pace he wants to be doing.
Yeah, he made up for that third sector that he kind of... Dragon stopped completely on track. Where's Dragon? P10. Is he resumed?
He's gone off.
Yeah.
That long right-hander, obviously very, very easy thing to do, and that's going to be his lap gone.
Do you think it's those brake dots that they were arguing about in the Racing Point, perhaps? They're not quite up to par when it comes on a wet track in
And he's
China.
locked up both brakes into the hairpin and just not able to get it stopped.
So let's have a look at Custom in P8 right now in the McLaren. Looks good in these conditions. He's got purples for the first sector, 27.7. He's just crossed the second sector, 33.4. That's right up in the pace there. He's looking for a provisional pole right now if he can make it stick into the last couple of corners. You want to go on board with him, and you can give me the total wizard that totally could be probably going faster than these guys right now, but you can give us your opinion if you want.
And that's someone in the pits is looking at Inters as a tyre. He's probably wondering what the difference between them is, but it looks like Inters may be the course of action at the end of this qualifying session. We're yet to see that, though.
Yeah, not with the conditions that I'm getting. Now, Custom, I think it's Custom, if that's short for CSTM. That's what I mean,
there's an interline forming on track. If they stick to it, it could be as equally as competitive as the wets.
Let's Custom up to P4, but he made a big mistake there in the third sector. They're not quite.
And he's
and
7/10
the second
off the
sector
P3
as well.
man.
Did not improve there. Lost a bit of time. Yeah, you're right. However, my forecast that I'm showing from the hacked weather control is still showing thunderstorms and actually a little bit of a warmer track condition. Let's say 15 minutes time, we're looking at drier conditions, but we only have 9 minutes of qualifying, so they ain't going to cut it.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past them for someone to have a gamble on Inters, maybe someone down the grid having a gamble on Inters and hoping that those Inter tires can hopefully find a few tenths and get them a few places on that grid.
As a driver, would you take the gamble right now? Why not?
If I was at the back of the grid, I'd 100% take that gamble if the delta was close enough.
Even if you're at the front, what risk do you have by using the
If I was
Inters?
at the front, I'd only do it if it was guaranteed, because there's a lot more at stake at the front. If you go on the wrong tire, you make a mistake and you lose 2 or 3 positions on the grid, well, that can spell disaster for your race.
You still have 8 minutes of qualifying left. You can easily go and do one lap on the Inters and come back out on the wets, right?
But they'd obviously want to go in the Inters at the end of the session, because that's when the track will probably be at its most dry, with the most water cleared from the racing line.
I get you there now. Yeah. Yes. So, 8 minutes left of qualifying. We have a bunch of guys out on track. Let's have a look at races boxed. Now, CSTM, again, he's not going to improve. He's, even though it's not showing him in the out lap, he's just coasting. Now, ERS, does it really make that much of a difference in these wet conditions?
Non-wet conditions. In fact, sometimes you want to turn it down a little bit. because it just puts too much power into your rear tires, and it's not good for you. And you might spin or
Yeah.
just lose traction or lose time.
I couldn't
Yeah,
imagine.
from what I've seen, there's several people in the garage are fitting wet tires. I'm not sure if they're going to go out on inter tires. I'm not sure if they're going to go out on inter tires, but they're certainly sizing it up, and that's someone on inters, I think.
I think you got that call right.
It
I
is
think-
someone on inters.
Yeah, that's Senna. So that's Max
Max
Senna.
Senna, we're going to watch him closely and see if it is time for inters or not.
Oh, he's also going to come out in front of Redhorn that's starting his hot lap, so he'll have to move to the side.
The Redhorn's gone very wide there. That's ridiculously wide. I wasn't expecting
that might have compromised.
something like that.
Yeah, so anyway, as you said, it's a bit of a gamble.
Bit of a gamble, but if he sticks to that interline and the track is dry enough, he could gain a few seconds, or tenths, or even seconds.
So for
if he
6
plays his
minutes,
cards right.
6 minutes into it, do you think these drivers now that are in the pits already with the teams, already holding the tire blankets over the tires, all ready to switch anytime they want, could just basically sit back right now, watch what the pace is?
I'm seeing a lot of people, about half the grid now in the pits, are choosing inter tires. I think that inter line has well and truly formed, and people are thinking that the inters are the way to go now.
But they're not leaving yet, so they're going to be waiting, as you said,
yeah,
till the
people are
very last
leaving.
minute, right? Very last minute.
I'd say there's enough time to go out now, set a few laps, and see when the track is at its best conditions.
And here it calls that. It's Becky going out. It's Racer going out. So Becky B, Racer, they're the first ones to take, actually the second and third, apart from Mexican Senna. That's really surprising. Mexican
Senna, Racer, and Becky B are all out on inters right now. The only people, I think Red Hornet and Maxime B are both out on wet tires still.
So you have a 1:46 lap time. You have 5 minutes. You're going to be approaching almost the 4 minute mark. You have to get out, right? Otherwise, you're going to be in trouble, especially if you get caught in traffic.
I think even a 2 minute mark would be the latest.
Yeah. You get what happens if you get a yellow or you get caught in traffic? Your lap's over, right?
Quite possibly, but if you play your cards right, you should be able to get out on time, set a lap. Yeah, a lot of people right now on inters. I think inters are faster tires right now.
Well, we'll see.
But what they're wanting to do is probably maybe fuel up the car for a few laps, go out, put in some lap times, and hope that when they're out there, the track conditions are at their best, and they get the lap, and then they're golden, and
we
they
can
get the
see
lap
with
time that they want.
with the Mexicano Senna. Mexicano Senna is now on
And
his.
that's a purple first.
Oh,
sector.
it's a purple.
Definitely
Yeah, you
looks like
called it.
inters.
So let's go on board with him. Let's see what he's going to be able to do. And we're going to see times falling drastically now. You call it there as a experienced driver yourself, and not just an experienced driver, but a very fast driver.
I'm probably not as fast as a few people in these lobbies, but I sure have a fighting chance.
You would have a fighting chance there. I know you. I know you. You'll probably be lapping some of these guys right now. I'm only kidding. But say 27.5.
Lapping people in qualifying, I'm sure that's going to happen.
Oh,
Yeah,
purple
that's another
second.
fastest sector,
Yeah. Okay,
It
so the
seems like
fastest
definitely
before
the
that.
track is ready for inters. He's
Yeah.
made the right call at the right time. Let's hope he can. If he gets on provisional pole, that he'll be able to keep it.
The fastest before was set by Custom. That was a one.
Oh, that's a bit squirmy, and that's invalidated.
Oh, he's
as well.
invalidated
That's
it.
quite unfortunate. He just got a little off the interline, got a tank slapper on the standing water, and just wasn't able to collect it before he went off track.
And he's got time
That's
for
his
another one,
time
right?
gone.
Because his tires don't wear as
He's
much.
got time for 2 more laps.
Yeah, they don't wear as much like the softs in the dry. So they can kind of.
Softs will fall apart immediately. These
Yeah.
tires are here to stay.
So let's go on board the
It-
Williams driver of Becky, because Becky now is setting the purples, obviously on the inters as well. A little bit of oversteer, understeer, a little twitchy, but keeping on that dry line, as you said, that's the key. You don't want to get too much into the wet stuff. If you're in the wet stuff, you're in the wall, potentially, or you're in the grass, one way or another. Becky's
Or
now
you're getting,
crossing
it's not going to be good for you
Yep,
if you
there
go
we
into
go.
it. But yeah, that's another purple sector.
31.6. So now it's all about hooking up that. Now let's say before that, the fastest second sector before that was Macau. That was a 32.6. So you can see almost a second quicker already from the previous wet tires.
Yeah, the inter tires have more surface tire. Obviously, the wet tires have more tread to clear that water, but the water doesn't need to be cleared, and now they're able to get the traction and they're able to set the lap times.
So Becky's going to cross the paperclip corner, a little bit of oversteer, trying to adjust it, keep it out of the wet track. Got to get, this is where the crucial corner is. Don't invalidate. Get it across.
Oh, a
keep
little
it
bit of oversteer through though. through there though.
Pointing in the right
And that's going to
direction,
be
crossing the
provisional
line.
pole
That's
to
got to be P1.
1:43.7. That's
three-
absolutely
yeah.
sliced Macau's lap
Yep.
time and almost 3 seconds faster. His
But-
teammate just behind him.
Do you know what's amazing? I guess because people are still on early laps. Macau's now responding as he does a 1:27.196. So he's 1/10, just over, probably a little less than 1/10 faster than Becky B in the first. So we'll go to Macau. He might be the next of the front runners, shall we say, in this race that could do something about that. Although he is, Becky B's gone faster again in the first sector. It's drying up.
It's
Becky
drying
B's
out.
still-
They've time for 1 or even 2 more laps.
This could
They
work really
want to
well
have
for
the
Becky
field to do
B
that.
because Becky B can almost at this
Macau is
pace.
still going faster himself. It's
He's
gonna
going
be a
faster
bit
in
of
the second sector, but that's because Becky B hasn't passed the
And then
second
Max
sector
Senna
yet.
sets another lap. Sets a lap time. He gets his lap in eventually.
Yo,
Well, that's not invalid.
BTFU gets the fastest first sector now, so he's improved even over both Becky B and Macau. Macau holds the fastest second sector, little slower there for Becky B. So, but Becky B's still got potential pace to improve. Macau can obviously improve on his time by far, but let's see what BTFU can do on his. Currently in
And
P6,
Gizem has gone second.
7th.
Seems like Becky B has set an impeccable lap time. Other people not able to beat it despite the track ramping up. But here comes Mikau. Could he beat it? And he has. And that's actually by a lot. It is nowhere near Becky B.
But
Even though
watch-
Becky B's lap time was very competitive.
The
Mikau's
Mikhail has
just-
come back out, but bro, I'm seeing BTFU's lighting up timing boards right now. He's almost 3/10
Becky
off
B coming
Mikhail's.
across the line. And he's snatched back provisional pole by a 10th.
Oh, fastest third sector there. But no, I think this is going to BTFU. I'm sorry, I don't see anybody else improving. BTFU, if he can hook up that last corner, he's already going to be at least half a second quicker. Gets past the lap traffic there at Dragon, hooking up that final corner. You got to get right. This is going to be absolute provisional pole, if not real pole.
Oh, and Becky B's lost it. He's held it together, but that's probably going to
BTFU, yeah,
compromise
here we
his
go.
lap time.
Done. Job done for the McLaren driver.
Oh, yeah, and he has gone faster by a lot.
A lot,
That's
yeah,
that's a
but
bit of a
I
shock, but
predicted half a second.
Mikau's not going slowly. He's
No.
still going quickly.
Mikhail's
Can
improving.
he get the fastest second sector? No,
Oh
he
no,
can't.
he screwed up the second sector, but he can still make it back. He's very close in the first sector. He was only like 0.003 of a second slower. He's now, what are we looking at? At least 2/10 slower on the second sector. He's got to pull everything he possibly can out of that Australian. What do you call it? I wouldn't even say anything. He needs to pull a dingo out of that car right now. A kangaroo. I don't know. He needs to get something out of that if he wants provisional pole. Because BTFU and Becky B have put in some blistering times there. Mikhail might be able to improve into P2.
It's 4/10 faster. Mikau's going to have to find something out
Yep.
of thin air almost to get this.
He can. He's Australian. We've seen this. He can pull it out of the
I
bag.
don't think Australian is going to be enough, but he's
Oh.
going to try it anyway.
No, he's
Across
not.
the line, it is second.
Second. So he did prove it a little bit, but not quite enough.
But not enough
yeah.
for Paul. But Becky B, after making that mistake coming out of turn 4, wonder if he's going to be able to snatch back the position that he wanted on the front row of the grid.
I don't think
He's
anybody
pitting.
else is improving now. No, Red Hornet. There's some drivers that might improve a little bit in the times, but nobody's showing up any purples. I think this will be your order.
A racer, P7, coming across the line now. Where can he end up on the grid? He is 6th, only able to get ahead of the Mercedes. Now
That's it.
Striffium is coming down the back straight. He looks like he's almost out of fuel. Let's see if he's going to improve on this lap.
As Dragon's going to cross
Into
the line.
what
it's Dragon
Biggles has
in-
dubbed the paperclip turn.
It's the paper
on the
clip.
brakes, late on the brakes, too late on the brakes. He's gone very deep on the in, and he's lost the back end out of that corner. And now see if he can get the final corner right after messing that last one up. Went through there now quite slowly. That was not fast at all. I don't think he's going to improve, but he has, and he's gone 9th.
Oh, not too bad. From 11th to 9th. Good job there. Last minute effort. We saw him dropping down. Max Senna had invalidated his lap, but BTFU, there you go. Boom. Job done. Especially over an Aussie like Macau.
The top 3 are a second faster than P4. Obviously, them getting their laps together much earlier and much better than the rest of the pack.
So, Macau, the Australian government just called me, bro, and said that your passport application has been denied. So,
I never applied for one. And I
unless
never
you pick
intend
up
to
the
go
pace
there
there,
for some
sir.
reason.
They only give passports out to Australian drivers that manage to qualify P1. But anyway, yeah, aside from
Oh,
the
yeah.
silly jokes.
We're talking about
Good job.
Mikau.
Yeah. Becky B. So it's a USA domination apart from Mikal squeezing in there. So BTFU, Mikal, Becky B. So there it is. So quick, couldn't even get a chance to read it. So who's your prediction there of the races? Have you
I
managed to
think
pull up the
BTFU has
YouTube
it.
there at all?
Nope, I didn't get it.
Okay. We'll leave it as it is. We don't know what the conditions will be for the race. I have a forecast only for the rest of the qualifying. Oh, I need to get a message here for a second. What am I getting for a message? Oh, you just sent me that message. It's fine. I honestly don't know it, bro. So we'll just wing it, shall we say? It is China.
It looks like it's raining, does it?
Oh, this will be exciting if it is. I hope so.
I'm seeing rain droplets. I don't know if it's going to be inters or dry conditions or when this is going to dry up, but
It
it's going
hasn't
to be
loaded.
quite interesting to see.
Loaded for me yet? So,
It hasn't loaded for me, but I'm seeing rain droplets in the pit lane.
it'd be interesting.
One
Oh, it is. Yeah, you're
of
right. Absolutely.
it's
So the formation started.
and they're all on inters, and the formation lap has started. Now I wonder when the track is going to drive and when these guys intend to pit. It doesn't look that wet out there. I think the stops may come quite early, maybe lap 5 or 6, or maybe even earlier than that.
Well, let me hack into race control and let me hack into the weather control, shall we say, and try to get the real information. The weather control being the Codemaster gods, shall we say?
I can do weather control. It'll be pretty interesting to see what the weather is going to be like in this session.
Ooh,
BTFU controls the pace of the formation lap, trying to get some heat into his tire, but it seems like he's treating it almost like a qualifying lap, trying to just understand the grip levels of the car and how the track is doing.
It's just very important for you as a driver when you're starting out to really try to feel that you have one formation lap. You know, you kind of got to get.
I mean, he set some laps in qualifying, so I think he'd have all the information that he'd want to know about these intermediate tires. But obviously, he feels like there's more to gain, or obviously this might be just how his style is on the formation lap from the lead.
And when you're a driver and you're doing these formation laps, how important is you to get those heat into the tires? Do you really think it makes a big difference for your race starts?
Oh, it can definitely make, especially if you've cold rear tires, you can get awful getaways if you have cold rear tires. But obviously, you want to make sure you keep tire wear, especially when you're on softer tires, to a minimum. But obviously, that's not going to be really an issue on these inter tires. Inter tires have kind of the same wear as mediums, so I wouldn't be too worried about that. I think I'd be worrying about getting heat into the tires.
So
Particularly if it's meant to rain for a long time, I'd be wanting to make sure those tires are up to temps.
There you go. Amazon's predicted inters to inters, so they're not predicting a dry race. However, I am predicting a dry race. So I think I know a little bit more.
Yeah, you've insight on what the weather forecast is going to be.
I am, and they're going to be lining up now. This is the time that the drivers get a little nervous. How's your reaction time off the start? Pretty good? 'Cause I think it's a key.
I used to get good reaction times, but I get awful traction, it would appear.
Okay.
Just falling back a little bit on my race start.
So how much are you going to put your foot down now on wets? It's a little
Obviously,
trickier.
you're going to have to be more gentle. It's even more of a fine balance than it would be on dry tires. It's going to be very tricky, and we're going to see a large disparity in the starts.
All right, they're going to start. You want to call? You want to call this one?
3, 4, 5 red lights, and it is lights out, and away we go. A pretty even start by the front to the Ferrari moving out. It appears that the Williams is just able to tuck in behind his 1, 2, 3, 4 McLaren, AlphaTauri, Williams, and McLaren into turn 1. The Mercedes going a bit wide, letting the Ferrari sneak down the inside. Red Bull waiting in the wings for one of them to make a mistake, and that looks like a spin. There's a racing point that's gone through the grass in the middle. That's going to allow the two cars behind. Meanwhile, out in front, Mikau just settling in behind Struffium, and Becky B just holding it in behind Mikau. And the McLaren of Kism seems to be dropping back a little bit, although he gains a little bit in the braking zone. He might be able to stick in with these guys. The long train as we go into the S section. It's a fast left and a quick right-hander. We're going to have to get it right on these inter tires. As you were saying, Biggles?
No, it looks like, yeah, exactly. You called it great there from the start. It looks like they're the closest battle I can see right now. That's between Senna and Racer. That's back in P7 and P8. Everybody got a great launch off the start there. No major collisions, even on these tricky conditions. Now they're kind of just forming this little line and stand. Now the Ferrari looks like
Skybit's going a bit wide, and the Ferrari looked like
yeah.
there was an opportunity down the inside, although you've thought better of it. Like going down this backstride, I don't think people will be able to get a move, especially through this right-hander. People struggling for grip, as that track looks really dry. From my perspective, still raining, but it doesn't look like it's draining. As Kizem or Becky B falls out of 1 second of Mikau, it seems like he doesn't get the best lap one, or he's just not happy on these intermediate tires in these conditions. Maybe his tires are overheating or something, because he's just not able to keep up at this moment in time. Mikau and BTFU are just putting out in front.
Dragon went really wide in that last corner, but the race is now between Racer, I think. That's Racer in P7 by Mex Senna. So he's the closest there. Now, oh, what happened? Mikau is absolutely... He's cowed
It's a timing glitch. Mikau is still second.
Getting excited over nothing. Thank you,
Skybits is still fourth, so...
All right. I thought
Bit of a
second.
glitch. GG Cody's, but still out in front.
When does that happen?
Top.
When does Mikau make a mistake like that? It is
Obviously,
Mikau.
yeah.
No, he's P2, yeah.
Mikau is still P2. It's just a glitch on the timing tower.
Oh, again, another glitch.
The timing tower doesn't want to make up its mind on where people are, so we're going to have to just hope.
My hack didn't work, did it?
Nope, your hack has led us to this. All right, it seems like it's fixed itself for the moment, but no guarantees.
Yeah, because my hack probably...
Kism seems to be a bit farther back.
I shouldn't hack this.
Like he'd be just trying his best to hold on Mikau, putting pressure on BTFU, going through into the third sector again, but BTFU a bit wide, and there's someone's off. It's Dragon Bone. He's gone off, and the Renault seems to have gone off with him. Them two a bit behind the rest of the pack.
Yeah, Mexico, Pana.
It looks like Mikau is all over the back of BTFU. He might just look for a run. BTFU going really wide on the exit, and that's given an opportunity to Mikau. They're wheel to wheel. It's going to be a drag race down the back straight. Looks like Mikau has a bit of an edge, but it's impossible to tell as they go wheel to wheel. Later on the brakes is BTFU, but Mikau has the inside line. Can he hold it in? No, Mikau is ahead.
Yep, Mikau, pull off the tear off visor as you get all the spray there from BTFU, and now he is up into P1. Thank God for the... Oh, not thank God. Thanks for the timing glitches there. Mikau had set the fastest first sector and set the fastest lap, so he's the quickest man on track. Maybe he was just sandbagging. Maybe he's a little upset about missing out on P1. Yep, Becky B now is under pressure.
And Kism seems to be falling behind a bit, not able to keep up with the top three. As the rest of them, the Ferrari down the inside of the Mercedes into turn 2 and going around turn 3 and 4. Can he hang in there? Yes, he can. Will he be able to get a good enough traction going into turn 6 and do a Ricardo dive bomb like he did onto Bottas? But the Mercedes not giving him much space at all, but he's going to send this down the inside. He is, but is he going to be able to draw alongside in time? Mercedes is in space, but he's just not able to keep up with them.
Interesting battles going on behind there, as you said. We got Racer there back in P8. So a little bit of a squabble there in the mid. There's big squabbles all over the place. These tricky conditions are great, are providing some absolutely great racing right now. And the only kind of definitely had this little battle.
It looks like BTFU is just struggling on those inters. Mikau just pulling away, and he's falling into the clutches of Becky B.
Yeah, what can Becky B do right now? What are you going to overtake? There's no DRS enabled. I'm not sure if DRS will be enabled at this point. It looks like rain forecast is showing that the rain might dry up a little bit now. So I think we're going to definitely switch over to dry conditions.
Oh, that's a huge tank slapper. How he held that together, I don't know. But Becky B having a huge moment going through turn 13. He's lucky to still be on the track right now, but obviously that mistake has given up an overtaking opportunity on this lap against BTFU.
Yeah, BTFG is now slowing back a little bit, so he's backing the pack into, as Mikau's pulling away, 1.3 seconds out of DRS. I may expect DRS could be enabled very soon, as his track conditions look like they're drying up. As you can see, fastest laps.
That's another fastest lap.
Yeah.
I had something similar happen where only after 4 or 5 laps, the rain peeled away and it was time for medium tires. Obviously, the people who pitted early, such as myself in that race and another driver, we were 5 seconds ahead after everyone else had made their stops or dries.
So my weather forecast is showing in 5 minutes' time, Well, actually, no. In 15 minutes time from the race, it'll be completely bone dry. So, what is the point right now? Are you gonna listen to Jeff? What is the point if you want to take a risk and try it under? If you're running
Jeff just seems to have an innate ability to know when the track is drier. And obviously, the game feeding him information on which tire is better, and they want to stick in contact with Jeff. Wait for him to announce the tires are equal. Maybe wait a lap or so, and then come in.
How do you take an advantage? Because Jeff tells all the drivers. If you're by yourself, it looks like Becky B's even closer. Now, you're stuck. You're, say, for example, you're CTSM right now, or Skybets. You're stuck here. You're at P4. You're P5. Let's say, for example, Becky B right now, P3. Okay, you're stuck behind BTFU. You got to get past. There's no DRS.
Oh, that's a lot of curb. I thought he was going to fall off wide, but continue.
So yeah, you're like, okay, you slide it. Yeah. So do you try to take an undercut right now? Take a gamble. Should I go on to the dryers? Because eventually, at some point, you're probably going to have to go on the dryers. If I go on to the dryers and make it stick,
you don't want to pit too early and lose out. Obviously, you want to get it to the perfect lap time, or the perfect lap to pit. Obviously, they don't know when this is, but they want to be the ones that gets it right.
But they get the call from Jeff. So if you apply to what Jeff says for everybody, it's the same. How do you decide outside of Jeff's actions? No?
Jeff doesn't always get it right.
But I believe Jeff tells all the drivers at the same time, right?
Well, he tells them when the strategy changes, but he doesn't tell them when the dries are as quick as the enters.
So you still have the ultimate decision.
And sometimes it might be a bit faster to pit the lap before Jeff tells you to come in.
What would you do in this situation there, sir, from your
I had a situation where Jeff hadn't told me to come in. I came in, and it was much, much faster on dry tires.
So it was a better decision. So if you're
it's a better decision for me to just feel the track grip, come in, and then obviously I got away with it, and I got now a lot of oversteer, and you can see there's not a lot of spray. You can barely see. There's no interline forming, which obviously means the rest of the track seems to be dry enough, but it's still raining.
All right, so let's go on board with Becky B, for example, in the Williams. And we'll go on board. You give me an idea of how it feels right now. Judging by what you can see on board, how do you feel? Do you think it's ready to switch over yet or not?
He's getting a lot of oversteer, I've noticed. I don't know if this is setup or just too much throttle, but he just doesn't seem to be happy with the balance. But obviously he's still faster than BTFU, who is still losing time to Mikau up front.
Yep. This is Mikau's conditions. Obviously being a cow, he likes the rain, he likes the grass, even though thankfully he stays off the grass a lot. In this case, being a cow. Sorry there, Mikau. Very bad pun. I'm not the comedian. I have the Irishman here, Total Wizard. He's a comedian.
If I want me to crack a few jokes, I can.
Yeah, I'll definitely crack it. It looks like Race is going to make a pass. Is that Racer finally going to get past Max Center? He's been struggling behind that Red Bull.
Just a bit too far back, it would appear. Mikau, another fastest lap. He's going faster and faster each lap. You have to wonder when these dry tires are going to come into play.
Yeah, Mikau kind of at the moment would lead the pack. So if there was other drivers and they see Mikau box, they might make the decision. I think obviously these drivers too are waiting for potential safety cars. However, with this field right now, the way they're driving very sensibly, I doubt that there's going to be any safety car. Nobody's had any major spins and visited any of those Emirates or Pirelli advertising barriers. That's for sure. So it's all looking pretty sensible right now. I just realized there's no audio from the game. I have a bad habit of that. My apologies on the stream. I turned the audio down. And there's no audio, so we can't hear any engines.
That's a shame.
Yeah, I do that all the time. Probably a little too loud, actually. Come to think of it now. Yeah, my apologies.
Yeah, as I'm looking out on track, the track doesn't look like there's any standing water. You can see the tire marks, which only you can really see exclusively when the track is dry, but you can see them here now in these intermediate conditions. Obviously, when you lock up or you get massive wheel spin, you can see the black lines and the 11s on the track. But obviously, we can see them now, even though it's intermediate conditions. So that has to mean that it has to be close to dry tires.
Yeah, the weather forecast is still... I did picture about 15 minutes into this race, I'm saying from race control, that there will be dry conditions. So we are getting into that point soon into the race. We're probably about 10 minutes into it. Let's look at the race clock. Ooh, race clock is not correct
Yeah,
for me.
Macau, another fastest lap, just
Yep.
fastest lap after fastest lap after fastest lap.
3
Just
seconds
reminding us
now.
when he's crossed the finish line with those fastest laps at this rate. It would appear that the track is most definitely drying up. Just when the rain is going to stop and when the dry tires are going to become viable is beyond these drivers at this moment.
Yeah, if I was even race engineering drivers right now, and my drivers are running a little bit further back there, at some point soon I'll take a gamble. I would ask a driver to take a gamble. It's always up to the driver. But this little squabble here between Maximum, Senna, and Racer, that's P6, P7, P5, they're all really close together on track there. Becky B still not being able to do much about BTFU because there's no DRS, and that makes a big difference, as you know, down that back straight. Oh, but Becky B's got even closer now to BTFU. I'm going to go on board with that. Or maybe a BTFU.
And BTFU getting a huge amount of wheel spin as Becky B, sorry to interrupt you, is really close to him, and he might get him this time. Although we have to wait and see if he does or doesn't. Macau still pulling out in front as Becky B makes a mistake into that
Really
third
wide.
sector. He seems to constantly make mistakes where it's
Oh, is that a
matters
mistake?
most.
Sorry, because that's
Yeah,
how I
another
drive.
mistake.
I do that all the time. I thought that's how you take the line. Obviously not. As you
No,
can
that's
see.
not the line you want to take. He's lost. He's dropped out of a second. He needs to get BTFU. He's just so much faster at this moment in time, but just not able to get him.
Yeah, that's cost him a lot. I think that's the second time I've seen him do that too. Great, he's catching. It must be really annoying as a driver. You get all that work done, 3/4 of a lap done. You're like, okay, ready. Line him up for the last corner. Make a mistake. You're like, oh, beep, and then you have to do that all over again.
Yes, very, very nice self-censoring there, Bagels. But yeah, as I'm watching the battle for what appears to be 6th, including Maximi B, Senna and Racer 33, and even you could count in Red Hornet, all in that battle for 6th place as Skybit seems to be in a world of his own, as well as Kism, who's not able to keep up with the front three, but just pulling away from the Mercedes behind him.
Yeah, once again, if you're getting held up right now, why not take a gamble? Why not take a risk? We see that in the rule of
I think
F1
it's
cars.
too early to go for dries.
Oh,
right
you
now.
have
I think
to
if
do it.
Go
I mean,
to
you
dries
have
right
to
now,
do the-
You'll just be too slow.
Didn't
It'll-
McLaren used to do that a lot back in the days of Coulthard and all that? Used to take some crazy gambles to go on different tire compounds during a race. And I think 1 out of every 10 paid off and the other 9 failed. Not bad odds, right?
Not bad odds. Obviously, not odds those drivers want to take at this moment in time.
What do you got to lose, bud, if
very
you're in
obviously
P8? What have you
quicker.
got to lose?
Obviously, the intermediates are obviously quicker right now, and it's too early to take the gamble.
I thought you were a betting man there from Ireland as well. You do a lot of horse
I'm a
racing.
betting man, and if I was betting right now, I'd stay on interest for the time being.
If you were betting right now, would you put money on Macau?
Macau has a commanding lead. It's going to take a
3.4.
miracle for him to lose that at this moment.
Yeah, he's got. Let's have a look there. Pit stop is about 29 seconds. Let's say a little less actually, but nobody's made. Believe it or not, nobody's made it. This is
DRS
outstanding.
enabled.
DRS is yeah.
Well,
So this
are
is
the
the
leaders coming in.
this is the
And
call
they
now,
are.
right?
Macau is in.
It's the Jeff call.
They must be coming in now.
It's the
They
Jeff
are.
call.
The top 3 are all in. I wonder if the rest of the grid is going to follow suit.
They
And
will.
Which teams are ready to double
They
stack?
will.
Looks like Kizza might lose out.
If
and
I'm
it's
a
going
ra-
to be interesting. What tires do they go for?
If I'm a race engineer,
are the best.
I know that they all copy each other. Oh, 2 people stayed out. That's great. I like that. Max Senna has stayed out. He'll take the provisional lead of this race. And who is behind
The hard
him?
tires. Oh, and they're obviously
Ooh,
thinking they can go
hard
to
tires.
the end. Someone on medium, someone on soft. It's very interesting. Hard
Red
tires. That's they will go to the end, but it's still raining though.
Yeah, let's have a look.
I
at
wonder.
Let's have a look at Macau's pace now, because now Red Hornet has moved up to P2 in the.
Macau, he's really taking his time.
Yeah.
Is it too early? Are Max and Red Hornet?
How do you
making
feel
the
right now?
decision?
Give us a commentary on driving these cars right now on a dry tires on a
It's
track
going
that's
to
wet.
be like driving on ice, particularly on hards. They're already a poor race tire, but when the track is not at optimal condition, it's going to be even worse. I think Becky B has made the correct decision on mediums. As I said, he loses the back end, giving him the commentator's curse for a second there. See Skybit's going for what's probably the most sensible choice at this moment in time for the softs, guaranteeing a 2-stop strategy. But he's going to be the fastest for a long time.
Do you think two stop? You can make those mediums go to the end for sure now in these conditions. The track temperature is only 24. It's depending on
It's
how
good.
they can make
I
it,
say it. One stop is so difficult enough at this point in the race for hards to go
Oh,
to the end. I doubt mediums will be able to do it.
Skybits looks like he's going to make a run on custom. What are they on tire strategies here for a second? Softs versus medium. So here we go. First little battle of the tire strategies. Skybits, fastest second sector on those soft tires. Different strategy. He will not be able to go on the ends on the soft, I believe. Look at this traction out of that corner. Wow. It's like, thank you very much. You just completely...
The soft tire is obviously the most preferable
Yes.
tire to be on at this moment in time. Again, the DRS just pulling away from Kism. Obviously, Kism in a comfortable P4. Now Skybits has got him.
Yeah, Skybits
And
has
now
got
the
that.
top two are in the pits.
Yeah, they had the box now, obviously. They just lost that pace there. It's
And
really
where
slow.
will they come out?
Mikhail set
were
the
both in
fastest
battle for
third
sixth
sector.
place.
Sorry, Mikhail set the fastest third sector there, so he's picking up the pace there. But Skybits might be on for a absolute fastest lap right now. We can see that those
And the rain
softs-
has officially stopped, and it's now perfect time for dries.
That's Skybits.
And it would appear
yeah.
that staying out was the wrong choice. It would appear.
Yeah.
You've lost out.
My call was
That's-
my call as an engineer was to go in one lap earlier, and I think that would have paid
And
off.
now Becky B is flying. He's seconds quicker than his personal best, and he's now going to have a very mega opportunity to get
Yeah.
past BTFU. Obviously, he's faster than BTFU on inters, and he's itching to get past that McLaren now that he's on the faster tire.
BTFU's on the hards actually, so
He's on the hards.
yeah, but the hards obviously we've just seen from the softs to the mediums. And I think there's probably a medium to the hard difference here. I'm going to change the tires in the broadcast because I forget I have it on my telemetry. I do not have it on the broadcast. I don't allow you guys all this luxury of my
I looked at the wealth of information you've got.
wealth
Is
of
not meant to be
information. Yeah, I
shared.
like to keep that a secret. Yeah. So, Becky beat Skybits again, going even faster. Skybits is P4, and now Skybits is like 9 seconds off the leader. So Skybits is 2 seconds a lap faster than Macau right now on the softs, but Skybits will have to box again. But we're on board with Becky B. I want to see what Becky B's pace in those mediums because he's got two hard runners.
He's much quicker than BTFU at the moment.
He's-
Obviously, the tire compound difference and the changeable conditions playing into his hands. Of course, he was faster under inters, and now that probably would translate to the current times he is doing as he
There it is.
smashes
But watch
Becky B.
watch
Macau's
Skybits
time.
smash the fastest lap now. Bang,
And he
139.
has. That's a beautiful lap,
By
especially
a
in these changeable
second
conditions. By
and-
someone who shouldn't really be posting fastest lap, he has done such.
1 point. What are you saying? Skybits can't do fastest laps?
When he's up against drivers like Macau and BTFU and Becky B, that is quite a sensational lap time.
So
to do
now
to
it's
beat
going to
them.
be now it's going. Oh, Macau sets the fastest lap. So obviously you're saying now that that it takes
Macau
a
has
few
actually
laps.
lost time and is still losing time to BTFU, despite BTFU being quite slow, particularly in comparison to Becky B, which begs the question: is Becky B actually much faster than Macau at this moment? Could he catch him if he gets past BTFU in a reasonable amount of time? Obviously, all over the back of him, he's going to want to line up the move. He's not going to want to make a mistake into turn 11. He's not going to want to make a mistake there. He wants the best run out of turn 13 he can get in order to overtake the McLaren and chase after Macau for that race lead.
Great exit, a little bit oversteer, but we'll have the DRS. You can stay with it 0.5 for sure. Down this back straight with the grip out of the corner. Oh wow, something must have BTFU
He's
must
quite
yeah.
far behind now.
BTFU must
he's
have
gonna
a pace. Yeah, go ahead.
I think he's just going to have to stick behind now after getting a dollop of oversteer. He's just not able to get him. Obviously, BTFU might have a bit more of a straight line advantage that might be keeping him ahead, keeping Becky B on the back of him. Becky B is just itching to get past him, but just not able to find the avenue by. Obviously, new fastest lap by Macau, not being able to be beaten by the other two. I wonder if Skybits can beat it.
I have to take a
Has
quick
not.
break.
He's at the fastest third sector, but he hasn't beaten Macau. Seems to have dialed
That's
in those
big.
hards to this racetrack and is flying out in front.
I have to take a quick break for a second, and we can go on, you can keep on board with Becky B while I take a quick break for a second. If you like to continue commentating.
Of course, I will now. Becky B going into turn 5 and 6 now. He's gonna maybe go for a lunge as he sets another fastest purple sector all over the back of him. He's just losing time, losing seconds behind the McLaren that he needs to get to catch up to Macau. This is hurting his race strategy. Every second he stays behind that McLaren. And obviously at this time, Skybits is going just as quickly, doing a great job down in P4 and those soft tires, probably making the best strategy choice building the gap to Kism on those hards, and he probably pit for mediums once he goes off of those tires, and he's going to have a great run to try and get some good stuff. And he's set a purple sector in the second sector, back on board with Becky B. He seems to be still quite a far, but he's just not able to close up to the McLaren where it matters to get the move done. He's going to have to improvise and overtake, because the backstraight just doesn't seem to be the place to do it. Although in saying that, the McLaren he's not lapping too slowly. He's about matching Macau right now as Macau. That's another fastest lap. But obviously BTFU doesn't seem to be too far off of those fastest laps, only maybe 1 or 2 tenths, but still Becky B has his pace. And there goes Skybits again with another fast lap. Gizem has been overtaken again by the medium and Maxime B, but he's going to come back into turn 1. Wheel to wheel, he's opting for the outside line. Is he far enough ahead? He seems to be, but the Ferrari's not giving up yet. He might try and dive into turn 3, but no, he's just going to hang in there for as long as he can. Maybe get the switch back, a little love tap through the corner there as they come out of the exit of turn 4. McLaren defends the inside line. They got very close and they touch a little bit, but the Ferraris might go for the dive. No, he just sticks back and gives him using some good defensive driving and good overtaking, good battling skills, just to stay ahead as he gets a dollop of oversteer that he doesn't really want at this moment.
He doesn't want a bit of front end plate in his wheel as well. That's going to cost him.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
The Ferrari's not giving up on him yet. It's Becky B. I haven't been watching. Becky B's ahead. He's obviously improvising overtake, and Becky B's now chasing after. Yeah, I think BTFU has made a mistake somewhere, and let's just allow Becky B through, and now he's unleashed to go after and chase after Macau.
Absolutely crazy carnage.
Now back on board with Maxime B, all over the back of Kism. He's going to want to get the McLaren on this straight. Hopefully, he might go for the big boy dive bomb, but obviously he's out of battery, but he's going to make up for that in slipstream and the DRS. Is he too far back to go for it? McLaren aggressively defends to the inside to just hold on to that, but will he get this? He's got a great switchback. Because he might lose out here. That really defensive line may have cost him. Round the outside goes to Ferrari, goes off the track in doing so. He may have to give that position back, but he looks in no mood to do so. Wheel to wheel, the Ferrari's got the DRS. He might come out on top into turn 1 this time. He's ahead into turn 1, but Kism's not giving it up. Around the outside, can he hang in there for turn 3? No, he can't. He's going to have to stick behind for now and probably end up watching that Ferrari just peel off into the distance. As Racer 33 looks like next on the chopping block for Kism.
Chopping block. I love your choice for words there, sir. Improvising moves, chopping blocks. Good call. Your vocabulary is very great. That's I think we need to get education in Ireland. Go ahead.
Obviously, Kism trying not to fall out of the one thing. He's going to need that DRS to defend from Racer 33, also in mediums, hoping that he can, on those hard tires, dial them in long enough, wait for that crossover. It's going to be a long time, but he's going to have to hope that his natural race pace is better than Racer 33's and that his tires will dial in eventually. It's very cold on track right now after all the rain and all the clouds, probably favouring the mediums on tire temperatures.
24.6 degrees is the temperature, and yes, you work on Celsius, don't you?
I work in Celsius, indeed.
Good job, thank you. Oh, God, the Fahrenheit thing. Like 3 countries in the world drive me nuts. But anyway, Celsius is the way it is. Air temperature 17. And yeah, as you've been excitingly battling here.
Fastest lap. He's chasing down Macau. I wonder if he'll be able to get him or no by the end of this race. Obviously, 4 seconds. He's dropped BTFU, and Skybits is closing that gap. Obviously, he's going to need to make the stop, but will he get BTFU before his softs go off?
Yeah, it's all about the pace now.
Am I wrong? Is that more rain?
I'm not going to spoil the surprise just yet.
I think that's a droplet of rain. Is the rain coming back down?
I'm not going to spoil the surprise. I know exactly what's going on with the rain gods, but I want to keep this action going on right now as Racer's putting big pressure there on CTSM.
Put this screw over the hardware. It's going to cool down their tires, and that's not what they need right now.
I don't want to reveal any of my information to the drivers to hear.
Anything but hard seems to be the right tire. I think Becky B has made the correct strategy call, and I think everyone on hards is going to suffer as a result.
I mean, I can tell you there's a hurricane forecast for the next 10 minutes, but no, I'm only kidding.
Hurricane's going to hit the track and it's going to sweep up all the cars.
It's a typhoon, actually, because it's in China.
Oh, it's a Typhoon.
It's only a Typhoon 4. It's not a Super
The
Typhoon,
next
so it's not
thing,
too
the next
bad.
thing that's going to hit the track is a tornado. It's going to sweep up all the cars. But in saying that, Racer 33, all over the back of him, he's just hanging back, waiting for the DRS. Just staying behind the McLaren for now, but he's going to have a mega run as the rain still comes down because I'm on the wetter track, going a bit wide. Obviously, he's going to try and use some of his ERS to defend, but it looks like it's going to be a lost cause as DRS enabled for the Williams. He defends to the inside, but it may be in vain, as the Williams just flies on past. There's nothing he can do. He just has to tuck in behind and just lose out again.
Yeah, I guess that's that new boost from the Williams financing as well, because Williams is now under new
Yeah,
ownership. So
that's 3 drivers that have overtaken him due to his, let's say, just poor tire choice.
yeah, we saw that at the start of the race, didn't we? But when the DRS was not enabled, it was very hard for those drivers to get any, even with that slipstream down that main straight, the really long straight, they couldn't really gain too much. And now with that, and obviously this great thing about this battle right now, as you can see, the different tire compounds on the screen, as you know. The white is hard, the yellow is medium, and the soft runners, only 2 of them right now, Skybits and Max Penner are on there, but they will most likely have to box again. 6 laps to go to the end. Even though the track temperature is cold and they are running less fuel, as you run less fuel, your car becomes lighter. As your car becomes lighter, you use less tire wear. But still, to get... I don't know how many laps could you pull out of the softs on this track, even with these conditions right now?
I mean, Skybit's tires have probably seen better days. I think he's probably going to want to hope that the rain comes down and everyone has to go for inters, because he's made the most out of those softs, but now they're past their prime and the medium cars behind him are faster, and he stopped closing in on BTFU.
Yeah, Becky B was also putting some good pace in, having the fastest lap there, catching up to Macau. But I think Macau's responded, being a last lap.
And Macau has responded in the past few laps, and he's just pulling away from Becky B again. Becky B was closing him down. He looked for a long time in those meetings. He looks like he was faster. Obviously, the rain is going to come into his favor, cooling down Macau's hard tires.
How long can the
How
long can the mediums last on this track? Could you run the mediums to the end?
They can try. It would be a stretch, but I think...
How many can you do in general?
That's yellow flag. Someone is off.
That's Max Penner.
Max Penner. He's gone off.
Max Penner, sorry. Max Penner, sorry. That's last Max Penner.
Max Penner. He's gone
all
off.
this mech. Sorry. The Max Penner. And that's on the softs too, Max. You should have some pace, bro. What's happened? Probably too quick. Going too quick.
Yeah, he's just not able to do it. I'm bored with Mikau right now. 3 seconds to get to the car behind. He's sitting comfortably right now, just hoping not to make mistakes and that this rain doesn't be the detriment to his race.
So on board driving, can you explain how you'd be feeling right now? How is Mikau driving? How is the car feeling as a driver?
I mean, I think he should be fairly comfortable in his cockpit right now. I think should just be calm, cool, collected, make no mistakes, and just keep the consistency up. And Becky should be able to ward off the attack that Becky B is trying to mount right now.
You can see him changing. I can see Mikau changing some settings on his steering wheel. He's choosing some ERS. He's using overtake on the main
Someone's in
straight.
the pits. It's Max Penner.
That's Max.
Is he going for a wing change or is he going for inters? It's going to be quite interesting to see which tire he goes for. It's intermediate tires.
Oh,
so that's going to signal to the race leaders that the inters may be the way to go.
Well,
and yes, Mikau is in. He's back in for inters.
Oh, so are we into time?
Those people.
Wow.
The people who have pitted for hard, the
DRS has not been.
He's staying out.
DRS has not been enabled yet. So
yeah, DRS is not being disabled, but obviously they think it's time. As that Mercedes Skybits, he's made the most of those soft tires, and the rain has come down, and it is his savior.
So let's see what Becky B can do now. Becky B now has a 17 second gap over Mikau, 18 seconds. So we can see with the pit stops.
Comes out of the pit lane now.
Pit stops are about 22 seconds.
Watch that delta. We're gonna see if it comes down or goes up.
22 seconds is what you need. So if Becky B, sorry to pause that for a second. I need to update. No, I didn't update. 22 seconds. Becky B can get a 22-second gap to Macau. Becky B can pit and be ahead of Macau. I don't think
that's going to happen. I think that delta's coming down, and it's coming down much faster than Becky B would want it to. I think Becky B has made the mistake of staying out, and that's a safety car. That's going to play right into his hands.
Yes.
One of the people who stayed out has made
Dragon.
Absolutely binned it.
Dragon
that's going to bunch up the pack. It's going to allow people like Max Senna to come in. Becky B may be saved, and you may come out in the race lead after this.
First safety car in 18 laps on these tricky conditions, and these drivers have been driving absolutely amazing. And we're looking at heavy rain coming in the next 10 minutes. So maybe even a call for wets. Don't listen to me, drivers out there. But maybe a call for wets might even be the plan right now. But if I was Becky B, go to wets, go to wets, go to wets.
It's a lapped car after hampering Becky B.
Yeah, Becky B is going to be struggling a lot now. I honestly think you should probably...
But I think if he pits for inters, or even, as you say, wets, he's going to come out in the race
I would go full wets right now. These conditions are looking horrendous in the next 10 minutes.
Oh, he can't even get on the throttle.
Then again, no, Becky B, I'm sorry, I'm getting a weather update. Probably stay on the inters because it's going to get dry again in the next 10 minutes. It's tricky. I didn't know what to predict. I'm only getting what the Codemasters gods give me. Becky, come on, don't listen to me.
If drivers are listening in, don't listen to Biggles. Just do what your instincts tell you.
Mikhail has to stay out. He cannot risk it.
Just telling them inters.
Mikhail stays out. He will remain and lead of this race. But however, Becky will be able to pull
Mikhail,
out.
I thought Becky B would come on this lead. Something's happened. And
No,
Mikhail,
Becky lost a lot of time
he
struggling.
was going to get him, and he didn't.
Becky lost a lot of time struggling on that.
I don't know what happened, but he's lost out. Obviously, that back marker may have something to do with it, but he's lost out, and now he's got all to do again.
Skybit now maximum. Obviously, sure, maximum will have to box. Yes, racer should stay out. Custom should stay out. I don't know any reason why these inter drivers would actually box right now, unless somebody would take a gamble and listens to the Biggles and goes to the wet. Nobody listens to the Biggles. But we shall see.
They probably
Stryfium.
have a reason to not
Can
do
Stryfium
so,
listen to the Biggles? Stryfium, can you listen to me as you go around the paperclip corner? Take a gamble there, bro. You're on P10. Go to the wets. It's going to be a thunderstorm in 5 to 10 minutes. But if you don't listen to me, that's fine.
But that track is looking much wetter than before.
And Stryfium doesn't listen to me. That's fine. You know what? It's going to be calmer later, bro. Don't worry. Because I've race engineered you before. Do you think I'd give you the right call or the wrong call?
Wrong call.
And now I'm going to mute our. And now I'm going to mute our co-commentator. Well, I think if you're running a P10 right now, why not take a gamble?
I mean, you say if it's going to dry up later, just why not
Oh,
make a
I'm
gamble
telling you,
when the track dries
I'm
up?
telling you, in 5 minutes' time, it's going to be heavy rain.
Yeah, but usually when heavy rain comes, that doesn't automatically mean wet tires.
That's true.
Obviously,
Well, okay.
I've raced many times, and
In
when the
10
heavy
minutes
rain
time-
comes down, the wet tires don't tend to be the tire to be on.
10 minutes' time, heavy rain, and we still have not seen DRS enabled. Disabled.
Max Penna's probably got to move on. He's a
DRS
minute
must have
and a
been
half
disabled.
off of the race lead, and he's probably going to get a move on if he wants to catch the safety car pack before.
Yeah, it won't happen. No. But this is the thing. This is a tricky thing that I see now in league racing. I see that one of the hardest things, apart from just driving these cars around the circuit, especially this like 5.4 kilometer circuit, flat out, and then obviously fending off all your drivers and improving your positions and overtakes. You also have to remember to balance yourself when you're doing under the safety car conditions, because many times I see drivers collide because somebody might brake a little earlier, and we already have Mikhail calling on the radio right now saying, can the safety car driver please speed up because he's going too slow. We hear that all over and over again. But we see little collisions between drivers under the safety cars, and that costs them that little 5-second time penalties that you get, which affects at the end of the race. And judging by time penalties right now, I'll give you a little update on the time penalties. Mikhail has 0. Becky B has 0. MRUBTFU has 0.
I don't know where you would manage to cut the track other than maybe turn 10.
Well, Skybit's TTV has 6 seconds time penalties.
I don't know how he's managed to get that. I have to look and see.
That's 3 seconds time penalties for cutting corners. Done it twice. And CSTM in P6, the McLaren driver, has got 3 seconds.
He managed to get 4 warnings on lap 2.
And Max Senna, running in the Red Bull, the only Red Bull driver in the race, running a P8, has 3 seconds. So there you have it. There are the.
Apparently, Skybit on lap 2 exceeded track limits 4 times. I don't know how he managed to do that, especially in 4 laps in a row, but obviously he managed to do it.
Well, don't underestimate the power of Skybits. Can make it
Obviously.
happen. But you know what? There is a trophy out there for you, Skybets. There's a trophy for the drivers that get the most penalties, okay? So you don't walk away empty-handed.
There was the Roman Grosjean award.
Well, he didn't crash, at least. We'll take a corner-cutting award over crashing other drivers. So the safety car now leading this race for the second lap.
It's Sebastian Vettel award for cutting the track.
Now, getting that temperature into these cold inter tires, and I'm expecting, as I said, and did I not call you there was a typhoon coming? When did I tell you the typhoon was coming?
I don't know.
3 laps ago.
Maybe, I don't know.
And what? And how are the conditions looking?
Wet.
Uh-huh.
Very, very wet. There's an interline, unlike at the start of
Nobody
the race,
ever
there was
listens
no
to the
interline.
Biggles. Nobody listens to the Biggles.
I don't think it's time for wet tires. From looking at the track conditions, obviously the drivers might think elsewhere.
And how many
might think
races
otherwise.
have you lost not having the Biggles as an engineer?
0. In fact, I won a race by not listening to you.
Did you? No, you didn't.
That's Canada, for DMR. I won that race by not listening to you.
Oh yeah, you might have actually, but I'll give you the call at the end of the day if it's close. So 22-second pit stop. Everybody's taking those pit stops. Everybody's now taking the 2 pit stops, shall we say, apart from Dragon, who's already retired from the race. He only took 1. The only person is Maximum B there running in P9. He's taken the 3rd pit stop. So he went from inters to mediums to 1 lap on the softs, and then went 2 laps now on the
In case
inters.
you didn't know, 21 laps have gone by. We've gone by really, really quickly. So what's happened to Becky? What's happened there? I saw the name tags go up and down the chart. Wondering what was happening. I think he may have made a mistake and lost out a few positions, and people are just trying to let him back by. What's happening here?
Yeah, this is what I'm
He's
telling
into
you about.
fourth. I think he went off, and people got by him.
Yeah, this is the tricky
Obviously,
part.
if you go off the track, if people pass you, they're allowed to keep the spot if you go off, but not sure what's happened here.
Believe it or not,
He was in second, and now he's gone down.
there's more action that happens during the safety car in a lot of this league racing than actually happens outside of the safety car.
Oh,
No
that was
penalties,
very
but
close.
no penalties that I
Tricky
see.
round.
Race control's not giving anything about that. So, so far so
I mean, it
good.
looks really, really, really wet. My God, it almost looks like wets or would be the faster tire.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry, what were you saying? Excuse me. Can you repeat that?
Obviously, the drivers disagree with you, but it does look that it's almost or is time for wet.
Excuse me. What
Yeah,
was
yeah.
I calling? What was I calling 2 laps ago? But anyway, a safety car's in this lap, and they're going to resume racing. Nobody listens to me, so I don't know why. You can commentate the rest of this race. No, go ahead. Mikhail's going to lead the race, and now let's go. It's race on. Will Mikhail dive into the pits and put wets on, like Biggles told everybody they did 5 laps ago, but no, 2 laps ago. No, Mikhail is now essentially the safety car. It's good to see an Australian being a safety car again. And he's warming up those tires. How do you approach this right now? Just get ready to take the corner, go?
Well, obviously, he's going to try and get BTFU at a moment where he's not expecting it. Obviously, if he goes out the final corner, he's probably going to have to book it, or else he's probably going to get caught up for some, maybe even a false start. But it would look like he's gearing up to go. Is he going to put the throttle down? Yes, he does. There he goes. And it is incredibly wet. My gosh, I don't know how these guys are going to be able to keep it on track at this moment in time. Macau has got a sizable gap to BTFU into turn 1, as there goes Becky B up the inside of 2 cars from 4th, trying to aggressively regain his P2 position as he goes around the outside, Max Verstappen style, on BTFU, and that looks like job done. And now he's got the monumental task of catching up and then having to overtake Mikau, though I wouldn't put it past him to be able to do that after looking at his pace so far.
Yeah, big battle in the middle field right now. Mikhail's actually built a bit of a lead there. Battle for P3, P4, P5, P6, P7, let's say for the rest of the grid right now. All line astern, all struggling with the restart at this pace in these horrendous conditions that I predicted once again. But let's just continue with the racing as the Williams are there.
I think all of them are really struggling. Skybits driving a flawless race, might even be able to get BTFU at this rate. Although it's yet to be seen, he's driven a fantastic race so far. As Racer 33 just behind him, holding up Kism, who seems to be probably on paper he seems to be quicker than the cars ahead, although he's not able to convert that into getting past them.
Skybits also has 6 seconds of penalties, so whatever he has to do, he has to do it fast because he's going to get 6 seconds, and the safety car hurts him a lot because the last thing he wants is everybody to be bunched up where he can lose out a lot of positions. But he has the pace, and if this race can continue to the end of the race, it looks like Max Senator, and then Red Hornet making a little pass between each other. Is that the Mexican Senna getting past in the Red Bull, past Red Hornet? It looks like it.
The car was just streaking out ahead. Just absolutely being able to put the throttle down and just driving his own race back. He'd be not able to respond.
Maximum's boxing, Mexican Pinner, and then Strifium has also made a pass there in the piece. And am I going to?
Is this for wet?
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm not even going to comment anymore because nobody bothers to listen to me. Listen to Jeff. Go for it. All right. But I guarantee you, those drivers. Oh, both of them, and they're not changed. Yeah. No, they're not.
But it would appear that I'm right, and it's not time for wets.
All right, we'll go with that in the race.
And no one ever listens to me. Huh?
You're a driver. Nobody has to listen to a driver. You have to just perform.
Yeah. You're the oh, I'm the telemetry guy. Look at this. Wet tires are best. And look at these guys flying on their intermediate tires.
Are they flying right now? They're all showing absolute whites, and we all know whites on the timing board is not flying.
The track was dry for a bit, so obviously that's why they're showing whites now. Obviously, when the track is wetter, they go slower.
And I have the... Ooh, yeah, it's really tricky there. But do you don't think the wets would give me any time right now, even if you took the gamble?
I'd say you'd lose too much time pitting, and that you would gain in a potential
under the safety car boxing, but under the safety car that you had before.
I doubt the track would be in the pristine condition for them to be able to pull it off going onto the wets.
What's the pristine condition? Like you're in the harbour of Monaco?
Harbour of Monaco?
Yeah, like you're in the water. You're basically floating a boat. That would be the pristine condition.
You're driving through the ocean. That would be a pristine condition for the wets. Yep.
So Macau now doing the Macau thing, pointing at a 2-second lead there. Becky B's falling back there. That's BTFU there. So this is good because we are now seeing once again this is equal driver pace as we've seen since the start of the race. They're all in the same tires, essentially almost the same laps. So tires are not going to come into effect here. Nobody's on better or softer or slower or faster tires. It's going to come down
to pure... It would appear that in that
Yep.
little stint that the soft tires were the tires to be on, but people going on to, Max Pennan's retired. Will this bring out another full course caution? It has. VSC is out.
It's a VSC, but he stopped in the final corner near the last corner exit, so he might have cooked it a little bit too fast there. And that is his race done. And the trackside AI, shall we say, marshals are quickly moving that car off the track. They're still stuck. They're a little bit laid back, these guys. What are they doing? Maybe the rain is hindering their performance right now. There we go. They got the car back in the pits. Right, it's back in the pits. Took him a little while there.
Probably go away pretty soon, and there it is. Skybits gets a drive-through. That's a huge shame. He was driving a brilliant race until then.
Yeah, but Skybits had the 6 seconds of penalties. He had the 6 seconds, and now he's got 6 plus 5. We all know 6 plus 5 equals 11, and when you're driving in a Formula 1 car, is not a good number to have.
That made no sense, but sure.
Well, he's got 6 seconds of penalties, and he gets a 5-second drive-through penalty.
It doesn't take you 5 seconds to drive through the pit lane.
No, but he gets 5 seconds whether he chooses to drive through or not. He can actually just not take it and then take the 5 at the end. You know what I mean?
No, I don't. I think it's 2. I think you have to serve it within 3 laps.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, my bad. What do I know about telemetry?
Exactly. And if he doesn't serve it, he get disqualified. So, about that 5-second time penalty he's going to get at the end of the race, Biggles.
Well, some drivers get a 5-second time penalty for speeding. I get it mixed up. My bad.
Speeding into the pit lane is a 5-second time penalty. Getting a drive-through penalty now is a different story.
Yeah, here you go. Yeah, I'm mistaken that. My bad. I can't always be 100% right. Every once in a while, I get something wrong.
Every once in a while.
Not like the weather. Not like the weather. I get that right every time.
I mean, you said it'd be wet conditions. Obviously,
Looking pretty
it's
wet right now.
intermediate.
They're doing 1 minute. One last lap from Macau. There was a 152.3. The best lap
Obviously, the track is much wetter.
was a 134.5, and they
That was just
started.
on dry tires.
They started on the Inters. You want me to look at the Inter
track
tires?
was considerably drier. It
Okay.
looked like it was almost time for dries at the start of the race. Looking
Okay,
at the track, but obviously the rain begged to differ when it was raining then.
At the start of the race, Macau did a 149.7
That is true.
on the Inters. Yes, I'm pulling up the data.
Yeah.
So, this track, obviously, if you do your math, is 3 seconds or almost 4 seconds slower than what it was at the start of the race on the same tires.
Yeah, but I think there's a 6 second window between the dry tires and the wet tires, and obviously the intermediates bridge that gap.
But we didn't have
Obviously,
anybody.
at the start of the
Unfortunately,
race, it's very,
yeah,
very close to dry conditions.
we didn't have
Obviously, now
anybody.
it's much closer to wetter conditions.
Yeah, we didn't have anybody go to the wet weather tires to be able to pull the fastest wet weather tire times off. Unfortunately, so somebody please go to the wet weather. No, it's too late now. But if somebody
Which is a
could have,
ridiculous point.
I think that strategy would have paid off. Because if Striffium had boxed at the back of the field, gone to the wets, restarted the race, probably gained a couple of positions under the wets, and then on the virtual safety car, boxed again, went to the Inters, and actually, no, I'm going to tell you right now, Striffium, no, it's too late now, but you could have gone to the Inters.
Yeah, you tell Striffium what to do with this strategy.
I can't tell. Drivers never listen to me. You know it. They don't listen to their
Including
engineers in
myself.
real F1. Look at Max Verstappen and all that. They don't listen to their even
I mean,
Lewis
when he was told
Hamilton.
to drink water, I think he did.
They don't listen to their race engineers. Lewis Hamilton saying, I want to change to these tires. They change to these tires. Drivers do what drivers do.
I mean, at the end of the day, the drivers know the conditions better, and they have a better understanding of the tires.
Well, to me, they're just crash test dummies employed to steer a steering wheel. It's all about the it looks like a part.
Crash test dummies. I wonder what your perception of humanity is, if that's what you think of racing drivers.
That's how I perceive.
Dummies, crash test dummies.
I'm sure I'm going to win a lot of fans over that, calling drivers crash test dummies that are essentially controlled by race engineers, because we can control the output. But BTFU right now is going to say something about that. It's putting pressure all over the back of Becky B.
And as BTFU just going for it as Skybits pits for some reason at the second to last lap. I don't know why. Oh yeah, he's got a drive through.
Yeah. So let's see if BTFU can get a podium. BTFU has no penalties, Becky B has no penalties, and Macau has no penalties. So those top three that you're seeing right now, including Racer behind them, good job there, Racer 33, although 7 seconds behind. The top three right now are podium positions, but BTFU is the closest to Becky B to do anything about getting the second step. Macau's 3.1 up the road, probably out of reach right now.
Yeah,
But it's,
early on this race, Kism was able to just hang on with the leaders, just barely, just 2 seconds within them on the intermediate tires, and now he's behind Racer 33. That hard strategy did not pay off, particularly when the rain came back down, ruining his strategy of going long, hoping that the medium runners their tires would wear out quicker than his. And obviously that hasn't paid off for him, and now he's stuck behind and may even lose out to Racer 33, which is probably going to be the blunder on strategies. He's only got himself to blame for that one.
you mean the BTFU and Becky B, because Racer 30... Oh, yeah, I mean custom. And sorry, I mean also I'm thinking about the BTFU battle with Becky B as well.
I'm thinking about the Williams and McLaren behind the Williams and McLaren.
Yeah, they're both close, but let's see if BTFU can do anything about
very
the...
close on this penultimate lap, Becky B and BTFU, as he just draws alongside on the braking, but the inside line goes to Becky B, which is just allowing it to just stay a little bit more ahead
listen
than
to
him.
the overspeed of those wheels, just spinning up like crazy. It shouldn't put a lot of heat in them. I'd love to see the tyre. If I had the telemetry for the rear tyres right now, I'm sure they'd be glowing red.
And both
now.
of them are out of ERS essentially. 6% for one and about 4% for the other as they go through a turn, obviously regaining that kinetic energy gained under braking and from the rotation of the wheels, from being off throttle.
So Wizard, this is it. This is you. You are in the you're in the car cockpit right now in the McLaren drive BTFU. What are you going to do? You want to get past Becky B. You've been on the second step of the podium. Is it sweeter? It is definitely sweeter than the third spot. You want it.
Definitely sweeter than the third spot. But obviously
Tell us how to do it. How are you going to do it?
You don't want a cataclysmic crash with Becky B, particularly after 28 laps of hard racing. Now it appears that gap has kind of opened up. The back straight is his only opportunity, but the odds of him pulling it off are quite slim.
I think we might have to go back to the. We might have to drop back to the custom battle there. The other McLaren driver racer, sorry, because he's probably a little bit closer there.
Oh, that's wide from Becky B. That might be just open up an opportunity for BTFU to just close in that little bit more. Let's see as they go through turn 13 right now. Will they be able to go wheel to wheel into this final into the final set of corners, turn 14? Will they be able to go wheel to wheel through that?
The DRS doesn't seem, the main straight doesn't seem to make much difference, does it, with the slipstream?
Very early, both of them deploying every last drop of overtake they got. Like he'd be on the inside, holding that inside line.
Drop of overtake.
He's going to have to hold for the track, but he's not got the traction. The wheel's spinning like mad. He's going to be all over the back of him, but he's not going to get for it.
You're
the Chinese Grand Prix. Becky B ahead of BTFU.
There it is. Sorry, Mikhail.
He's almost out, but he's able to keep it together. Racer 33, just outside the podium positions. P4 for him.
Yep.
Schism comes P5 and Max Senna behind him.
And look, that drops Skybits all the way back into P9 with that 6 seconds time penalty.
P4 or whatever position he was in. I had a brain fart. I forgot where he was. But yeah, he was in a quite a good position, making the correct strategy choice onto soft.
So unfortunately, we missed Paul Mikhail's finish there at the end there. But Mikhail, you know what? We expect it. So sorry about the little shout out there. Sorry, but I'm on board with you now. I'll give you what is with your helmet, sir? You didn't have an Australian flag on there. Red Hornet gets the driver there. Good job. Red Hornet had is finished in 7th place. I'm not quite sure where Red Hornet had started at the start of the race. You can take your selfie there, sir, Mr. Australian, the man himself. But we'd like to see a shoey. One day they'll program a shoey into it. But that's an Australian flag surrounded by the two brilliant American drivers there that put a big effort in there, Becky B and BTFU. Racer in P4 there. Great job. Becky B gets the fastest lap, as you can see there. That's purple. Purple equals fastest lap. And then once that, you got BTFU, Racer 33, Custom, I call you, and then Max Senna, really good drive there. And that's why Red Hornet got the driver of the day. 11th up into 7th. Good job there for the American driver in the Alfa Romeo. Striffium there, hung in there, didn't listen to Big Ol' strategy, but did all right there. Up 9th, gained 1 position. MRL Maximum there had started 8th and finished 9th. There's Skybits after those penalties. It cost him a lot of time there, as you can see. Max Penner did not finish, and Dragon Bone did not finish. But only 2 drivers did not finish this race, and we had great wheel-to-wheel action. So who is your driver of the day there, Mr. Wizard?
I think I'm going to have to give it to Skybits. Even though he got the drive-through penalty, I think he drove a fantastic race, especially when the track was dry.
And starting 7th from the grid as well. Had to work his way up. It did work his way up a lot. Just had to drop back a lot during those penalties as well. So there you have it. That's China, or China, however you want to pronounce it. 50% race in very trickable conditions. Almost the typhoon that I predicted, but I fell a little bit short of that. But we had a wet qualifying. We had a wet start, and we went to dry conditions, only briefly too, mind you. Best lap was 134.4. The guys finished the last lap in a 144.8. So you can obviously get a difference in the times there during the tyres. Went from the inters to the mediums or hards or softs, back to the inters, and back to finishing the race. Congratulations, Mikhail. Congratulations, Becky B and BTFU for rounding out the top grid. Enjoy that champagne. And thank you very much, Wizard, for the absolutely amazing and your vocabulary. I love it. Thank
you very much.
I think what was you saying the last lap or something? It's like he's giving the wet, something about giving it all the wet power. Or I can't remember what you were saying.
Are we doing interviews?
I know. I'm not quite sure if we have.
There's people waiting to do interviews.
Oh yeah, let's do interviews. Can you come in? We're going to do interviews. Yeah, we're going to do interviews. Okay, cool. Awesome. I didn't realize there's an interview racing. So we're live, everybody. We have Wizard,
Hello.
Total Wizard, Mikhail. We have Becky B in here, BTFU, and Total Wizard and myself, the commentators. Thank you very much, guys, for the wet/dry/wet race. Wizard, do you want to go ahead? The interviews?
Yeah, Macau, did you feel like you were under pressure at any point of that race, or did you just feel comfortable out in front?
I felt like I was under pressure for. Well, I mean, I got a good start. I was quite happy with the start, just trying to get the tires up to temperature. And then I was just thankful I was able to make the move on BT when I did. That was pretty important that I got it done pretty early because I don't know what was going on, but I seemed to have the pace over him as aside from what happened in qualifying. And then after that, it was all about tire management because we didn't exactly know when the dry patch was coming. We knew it would be coming like around midway through the race, but I think most of us were unsure when exactly that would come and whether we would need to manage the intermediate tires a lot or not. And I was quite worried about the wear I had on the first stint. So after I gotten past the move, I just managed the gap and save the tires. And I'm just thankful that I didn't get caught out by the pit stops aside from the safety car.
Well, obviously, there was a quite short dry patch in the middle. What motivated you to go to hards when the dry patch was so short?
Well, similarly to when I didn't know, or similarly to how I didn't know when the dry patch was coming. I didn't know when the rain was coming back. So I was just covering all bases and making sure that I could go to the end of the race if the rain wasn't heavy enough towards the end to warrant the extra stop. So that's why I went on the hards, but obviously with hindsight, probably should have gone on the mediums and I probably would have an extra point if I did, but
So Mikhail, you weren't tuned into the commentary team with the big girls giving you the forecast.
No, maybe that's something I have to work on going forward.
Yeah, I had a little bit of a forecast there. I wasn't sure how accurate it was, but it was not too bad, shall we say, the other day. But yeah, your call was still the right call because P1 is the top step of and the sweetest champagne. So you must be getting sick of all these top steps. And how's your trophy cabinet feeling right now? Pretty full?
No, it's still got a bit of space, but no, it wasn't plain sailing for the entirety. Had BT who had some decent pace on the inters, especially at the start, and BT's wet pace in qualifying. I just couldn't match it. I made a mistake on my quali lap, and then in the dries, with Becky B being on the softer compound, if it weren't for him and BT getting stuck in a battle, for as long as it did, I'm pretty sure Becky would have caught me and potentially passed me before the rain hit again. So I'm glad with the result. A bit disappointed that I missed out on fastest lap by a 10th, but I'll still take the top step, 25 points, and look forward to the next race in Zandvoort.
Yeah, I am disappointed there, sir, about your not getting the fastest lap there, being Australian. So, where your passport that you applied for is under evaluation right now. So, we need to think about that, your next performance, if you want to be able to leave the country. No, I'm only joking, bro. Good job. Very good job, as I expect. So, yeah, Wizard, over to you. So, we got
BTFU obviously getting pole position with very commanding lap time in qualifying, but the race didn't really go your way. What happened from your perspective?
Yeah, I had the quality lap that I wanted. Felt very confident going in. At the start, I didn't know how wet it was going to be. Obviously, we knew it was going to be starting a wet race. It was a lot more drier than I thought it was going to be at the start, but the pace wasn't bad. Just kind of fell off a little bit. Didn't have the speed or pace I wanted to at the start. Struggled on the dry stint just because my setup was more geared towards the wet setup. But the last stint, I was catching Becky, trying to pass him, but we were too equally paced at that point, and couldn't get the pass on him for a second.
And of course, the question that I asked Mikhail, obviously you went onto hards as well. Obviously with the dry patch being quite a short dry patch, what made you think that the hards were the correct decision?
Basically the same answer he kind of gave, just in case if the wet wasn't going to be wet enough to change to inters. I've had a race in the past where it was like 10 laps where it was raining, but it wasn't heavy enough to go to wet. So I was just kind of preparing for that just in case if the rain wasn't heavy enough to change the inters.
Of course, and to our final driver in this interview room, Becky B, obviously capitalizing on those mediums, really putting in some good lap times. And when the safety car came out, what went through your mind, and did you think you'd be able to come out ahead of Mikau at that time?
When it did come out, I was happy because I knew I was going to be able to get out. But coming down the back straight, I think it was one of the lap traffic. They must have had a red Delta or something because they slammed on the brakes. And when I went to overtake them, I got an illegal overtake. So I had to stop as well and lost probably 8 seconds to Mick behind. So he ended up coming out a few seconds in front of me.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off there, Becky B, because we Wizard had caught that out there saying because you had almost enough lap time ahead for the pit stop, and we wonder why you lost so much time. So yeah, go ahead with that.
Yeah.
Because I was predicting that you'd actually come out ahead of Mikau and be able to maintain that lead, but obviously, because you had a 22-second gap going down that back straight, and obviously losing out because of that back marker.
Right. Yeah, I was when I saw the safety car at that time and I knew I was going to come out in front of him, I was confident going into that, and I was like, well, this is it. This is going to be just a battle for P1 at the end. And I thought I'd be confident enough to hold him off, but that kind of sucks in the end, but happy to get the P2 and the points and the fastest lap as well.
And not just to mention so, but a lot of entertaining racing as well. So,
yeah, for sure. I mean, me and BTFU were battling for most of that race.
Yeah.
Feels like.
So we have to keep everybody entertained, and you did a very good job. Sorry, Mikhail.
Yeah, Becky B, you had quite the send on the, I think it was the safety car restart or something. I saw it in my review. Like,
well, yeah, because
inside.
I lost 2 positions on under safety car because I was trying to heat the tires and I pulled a Grosjean and almost put it in the wall. and then, yeah, right on the safety car restart, they both went wide and I just had a double overtake on the 2 apexes. That was probably one of my best overtakes I've ever had.
I actually saw that, and you went down the inside of one car and just had the grip to pull it off on the next one.
Right. Yeah.
Good call on the tires. That's what makes
sure.
the difference. And good call on the strategy.
The question that I addressed both drivers before, obviously you pitted for mediums, which was the better tire to be on at the time. What made you think that that the rain was going? Obviously, you thought the rain may have came back, or did you think those mediums could go to the end?
I think it was kind of just I gambled a little bit. I was hoping that I could probably get fastest lap with them being on the harder tire, and I figured that the rain was not going to last that long. And considering how light it had been, I figured it was just going to be more of the same, which turned out to be the right call, and ended up, being able to get fastest lap, and it turned out all right for me. So,
well, it's unfortunate with that little back marker that might have cost you the race, but however, at the end of the day, you had the pace. That rhymes. So you know for a fact that you can bring it to the likes of BTFU and Macau. So looking forward to seeing you definitely racing these guys ahead in the future.
Oh, yeah.
Big congratulations to BTFU. Big congratulations to Macau. Wizard, what do you have to say about this race, sir?
Well, I'd like to thank all of you for turning up, for giving some good racing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No worries.
And that's China, and that's PPR Esports done for these Chinese Grand Prix. Thank you very much for Wizard coming in very last minute and commentating. I always have an absolute pleasure commentating with you, sir. And your vocabulary amazes me. I'm writing down the words that you use during your commentary that makes it so much more exciting.
I think I'm going to have to charge you 50 cents per word you steal.
50 euro, I think. That's fine. But yeah, that's fantastic. And plus your extensive driver experience helps because, I'm horrible at driving. So I need to, somehow the drivers need, the viewers need to be entertained by the experience for somebody who can actually finish 1 or 2 laps rather than a commentator that can't even get around a track barely. So yeah. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for everybody for watching. And thank you. Big thanks for all the drivers. Only 2 retirements as well. So, and really good, impressive driving in tricky conditions. So this is what we like to see. And I'm sure everybody's having a lot of fun. So thank you. Take care, stay safe, and keep racing. And we'll see you all next time. Goodbye.